My name is Nora Hayes. I'm 35. And the last thing I expected after flying back from hurricane relief in Florida was watching my own brother destroy everything my father built. He smashed a champagne glass at my feet in front of 200 people. Then he looked me in the eye and said, "Do you know who my wife's father is?" I didn't say a word. I just smiled. Because he had no idea who I was. Before I tell you how I took back my hospital and made my brother clean the floors he spit on, tell me where you're watching from. I want to see how far this story goes. I landed at Logan Airport at 6 a.m. after 4 weeks running emergency medical tents in Florida. I didn't go home. I went straight to Mercy General because my gut was screaming. For 3 weeks I'd been getting strange reports. Supply orders delayed. Nurses quitting. Anonymous emails saying check the board. I didn't use the executive elevator. I wanted to see Mercy General the way patients see it. Scared families, tired nurses, the smell of bleach that never leaves. That's when I heard him. My brother, Derek, screaming at an old janitor near the donor wall. Derek had a champagne flute in his hand. 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. The janitor, Mr. Alvarez, 70 years old, was on his knees picking up broken glass. "You stupid old man," Derek shouted. "Do you know how much this carpet costs? My wife's father owns this hospital." I stepped forward. Derek turned. And for a second, he didn't recognize me. Then he did. And instead of shame, I saw something worse. Amusement. He raised the glass like a toast. "Well, look who it is. The ghost of Mercy General." Then he threw it. The glass exploded at my feet. Champagne soaked my coat. The entire lobby went dead silent. He pointed at me. "You better leave before security drags you out. Lena's dad is Victor Hale. One call and you disappear." I didn't flinch. I looked down at my wet shoes. And I realized the champagne wasn't the insult. The insult was that my own blood thought I was nobody. Derek was always reckless. DUI at 21. I paid his lawyer. Rehab at 25. I held his hand. When he said he wanted to change, I gave him a community outreach job at Mercy General. My father built this hospital with one rule: patients first, ego never. When he died, he made me trustee of the Hayes Family Medical Trust. We own 51% of Mercy General. Victor Hale was voted in as CEO 2 years ago after a merger I opposed. He has the title. I have the spine. Derek used my name to get clean. Then he used my silence to get dirty. Standing there with champagne on my coat, I knew. He had been stealing. And my husband James had been letting him. James walked in. My husband. Head of surgery. He saw me, saw Derek, saw the glass. His face went white. "Nora," he said. "Not are you okay?" "Just Nora." Derek laughed. "Tell her, James. Tell her who really runs this place now." James looked at the floor. "Let's talk in my office," he whispered. That's when I knew. He wasn't surprised by Derek's behavior. He was scared I'd expose it. "No," I said loud enough for everyone. "We talk here." Lena walked in then. Victor's daughter. Derek's wife for 8 months. She looked at the scene, at me, and smirked. "Security," she said to the guard. "This woman is harassing my husband." The guard looked at me. He knew my face. Everyone who'd worked here over 5 years did. He didn't move. Lena frowned. "Did you hear me? My father will have your job." I pulled out my phone. I didn't call security. I called Arthur Vance, my family lawyer. And Carla, head of compliance. "Bring the insurance audit files," I said. And the access logs from the executive server room. We're doing this in public. James grabbed my arm. Nora, please. Not like this. I looked at his hand. Then at his eyes. How long? I asked. How long have you been covering for him? He didn't answer. That was my answer. Lena screamed, that's a lie. I turned to her. The payments went to an LLC. Registered to your apartment, Lena. Derek's face changed. The arrogance died. Because suddenly, this wasn't about champagne anymore. Carla arrived with a tablet. She connected it to the donor screen in the lobby. Everyone could see. She pulled up patient insurance records. In the last 6 months, Carla said, 47 patients had their insurance data accessed after hours. All by Derek Hayes' login. The lobby gasped. Those records were sold, Carla continued. To a third-party debt collection agency. For $400 per file. I looked at Derek. You're not just stealing money from the hospital, I said. You're selling sick people. This was federal. Lena stared at James. You said this was covered. Silence. That line landed harder than any scream could have. I looked at James. Covered? I repeated softly. That's the word you used. He dragged a hand through his hair and whispered. Nora, listen to me. Victor was pushing everything through. He said if I blocked it, he would spin the board against you while you were away. So you gave him my hospital instead, I said. You gave him my brother, my staff, my father's name, and you called it buying time. James looked at the floor. 3 years ago, he said, I lost a patient on the table. Ruptured aortic aneurysm. I was tired, 36 hours straight. I missed a suture. Victor Hale found out. He buried the report. In exchange, he wanted one thing. My silence. The lobby was so quiet you could hear the AC. He made me sign off on Derek's first vendor contract, James said. Then the second. Then the third. By the time I realized what Derek was really doing, I was already complicit. I looked at my husband. The man I married. You didn't sell the hospital, I said. You sold yourself. James nodded. And I sold you. Derek tried to speak. I cut him off. You don't get to talk anymore. Your debt is now public. Arthur Vance stepped forward. Nora, he said, we have the board on emergency call. Victor Hale is refusing to join. I smiled. Then we do it without him. Carla put Victor's picture on the donor screen. Next to it, the LLC payments to Lena's apartment. Next to that, the insurance fraud totals. $18,800 from selling patient data. Federal crime. Lena's face went white. She grabbed her phone. Daddy will sue you for defamation, she screamed. I looked at her. Call him. Tell him I have the DNA test he paid to bury 8 months ago. The one that proves you're his daughter, Lena. Not his daughter-in-law. His daughter. The lobby gasped. Lena froze. Derek turned to her so fast he nearly fell. What? Lena started shaking. It's not true, she said. But her voice was wrong. Too high. Too guilty. I nodded at Carla. Carla opened another file. Paternity test. Mercy General Lab ordered by Victor Hale. Patient name redacted. But the dates match Lena's emergency appendectomy last year. We test all surgical patients for rare blood markers. Yours came back with a 99.9% match to Victor Hale. Lena, you are his illegitimate daughter. That's why he gave Derek power. To keep you quiet. To keep his wife from finding out. Derek stared at Lena like she was a stranger. You used me? He whispered. Lena started crying. No. I loved you. But I needed protection. Victor said if I married you, he'd make you untouchable. I looked at both of them. You were both playing games with my hospital. The board members appeared on the screen one by one. I didn't wait for pleasantries. Victor Hale is removed as CEO, effective immediately, I said. For fraud, blackmail, and falsifying medical records. Derek Hayes is terminated. Lena Hale is banned from all Mercy General properties. James. I looked at my husband. James Lawson is suspended from surgery pending ethics review. But he will keep his license. Because he didn't steal. He was a coward. And cowards can be taught to be brave. James looked up. His eyes were red. But he nodded. I won't quit, he said. I'll fix what I broke. Good, I said. Start with Mr. Alvarez. Apologize to him first. Then we clean house. Security escorted Derek out. Not to jail. To a holding room. Lena ran after him, screaming. Victor Hale finally called in. His face filled the screen. You ungrateful little girl, he spat at me. I built this place while you were playing disaster doctor. I laughed. No, Victor. My father built this place. You just infected it. I turned to Arthur. File federal charges for the insurance fraud. And call the FBI. Healthcare data theft crosses state lines. That's their jurisdiction. Victor's face went gray. You wouldn't. I leaned close to the camera. Watch me. Then I hung up. The lobby broke into applause. Not for me. For Mr. Alvarez, who was finally sitting down, being given water by two nurses. An hour later, two FBI agents walked into Mercy General. They didn't come for me. They came for Derek. I met them in the lobby. With witnesses. Agent Torres looked at Derek. Derek Hayes? Insurance fraud, wire fraud, identity theft. You have the right to remain silent. Derek looked at me. He was crying now. Not tears of regret. Tears of fear. Emma, he said. My name is Nora, I said. He flinched. Nora, please. Don't do this. I could have said nothing. Let him rot for 10 years. But my father didn't raise me to be cruel. He raised me to be just. Agent Torres, I said. I have a request for the judge. Derek doesn't go to federal prison. He comes back here. Every day. 6 a.m. shift. As a janitor. For 5 years. Under Mr. Alvarez. Agent Torres blinked. That's not standard sentencing. I know, I said. But justice doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes it holds a mop. The judge agreed. Community service in lieu of prison, supervised by the hospital, with restitution of $18,800 paid from Derek's personal accounts. Victor Hale resigned before he could be fired. His wife divorced him a week later. Lena left Boston. She sent me one text, I'm sorry. I didn't reply. Sorry doesn't rebuild trust. Action does. James started at the free clinic. He worked 12-hour shifts, no pay, treating patients who couldn't afford surgery. He lost 20 pounds. His hands shook for a month. But he didn't quit. Every night he came home and said 2 words, I'm sorry. Every night I said 2 words back, prove it. On day 90, he brought Mr. Alvarez a new pair of orthopedic shoes. Mr. Alvarez cried. That was the day I let James move back into the guest room. Derek's first day as janitor, he showed up in a $2,000 suit. Mr. Alvarez handed him a gray uniform and a mop. Derek laughed. "You're joking." Mr. Alvarez pointed at the lobby floor. The same floor Derek had spit on. "Start there," he said. Derek looked at me. I was watching from the balcony. I said nothing. This wasn't my punishment anymore. This was his. By noon, the suit was ruined. By 3 p.m., his hands were bleeding. By 5 p.m., a nurse he once insulted handed him a Band-Aid without saying a word. He didn't thank her. Not yet. Pride dies slow. But it dies. Day 2, he came back. In the uniform. Day 3, he was early. Day 10, he cleaned a vomit stain without being asked. Day 30, he stopped flinching when people stared. 3 months in, the local news ran a story. Disgraced hospital air mops floors he once ruled. The comments were brutal. He deserved worse. Make him clean toilets. I called the reporter. "Take it down," I said. "This isn't entertainment. This is accountability." She asked why I was defending him. "I'm not," I said. "I'm defending the process. If we humiliate people for clicks, we're no better than Victor." The story was deleted. Derek never knew I called. He didn't need to. That week, he fixed a broken wheelchair for an old woman without being told. Mr. Alvarez saw it. He told me later. "He didn't say thank you," Mr. Alvarez said. "But he didn't wait for one either." That's a start. 6 months in, James saved a boy's life at the free clinic. Ruptured spleen from a car accident. No insurance. James operated for free, using equipment I donated from Mercy General. The boy's mother hugged James after. She didn't know his past. She just knew he saved her son. James came home that night and sat on the edge of the bed. He didn't say sorry. He said, "I think I remember why I became a doctor." I handed him a key to our bedroom. Not because I forgave him, but because I saw him trying. Forgiveness isn't a door you open once. It's a hallway you walk together. Every day. 1 year in, Derek asked Mr. Alvarez if he could take the night shift, so the single moms on staff could go home to their kids. Mr. Alvarez said yes. That night, a pipe burst on floor 3. Derek worked until 4 a.m., waist deep in dirty water, to keep the ICU dry. He didn't call me. He didn't post about it. A nurse took a photo and it leaked to the staff group chat. The caption said, "He didn't have to do that." No one clapped in the lobby. But the next day, someone left a coffee on his cart. Black, no sugar. His favorite. He stared at it for a long time. Then he drank it. And he kept mopping. Lena sent a letter from California. She was in therapy. She was working as a medical receptionist. Not for money. For penance. She wrote, "I didn't know who I was without his lies. Now I'm learning." She asked if Derek was okay. I sent her one photo. Derek, in his uniform, teaching a new janitor how to wax a floor properly. No caption. She didn't reply. But she didn't have to. Victor Hale was indicted on 12 federal counts. He took a plea deal. 7 years. His last words to the press were, "I underestimated her." He was talking about me. He was right. Everyone underestimates the quiet ones. Until we stop being quiet. 2 years later, Derek finished his sentence. 5 years of janitorial service. $18,800 repaid. Every dollar. On his last day, the staff threw him a party. Not a big one. Cake in the break room. Mr. Alvarez gave a speech. He said, "When you came here, you thought you were too good for this floor. Today, you're leaving it better than you found it. That's all any of us can do. Derek didn't cry. He just said, "Thank you for not letting me quit." He left Mercy General that day. He now runs a non-profit that trains formerly incarcerated people to work in hospital maintenance. Living wage. Benefits. Dignity. His website says, "I used to sell sick people. Now I serve them." James runs the free clinic full-time now. He resigned from Mercy General. Said he couldn't take a paycheck from a place he nearly destroyed. I offered him a job. He refused. "I need to earn it somewhere else first," he said. 3 years later, the board asked him to return as chief of community medicine. He said yes. On his first day back, he hung a photo in his office. It was the donor wall, with a new plaque at the bottom. It reads, "Patients first, ego never." Harold Hayes, founder. James touches it every morning before rounds. He tells every new intern, "This hospital isn't mine. It's theirs." Pointing at the waiting room. He finally gets it. Mr. Alvarez retired last month. 43 years of service. We named the lobby after him. The Alvarez Pavilion. At his retirement party, Derek came. In a suit. Not a $2,000 one. A $200 one. He hugged Mr. Alvarez and whispered something. Later, Mr. Alvarez told me what he said. He said, "You were the first person who didn't see my last name. You just saw a man with a mop. Teach me how to be that man." Mr. Alvarez smiled. He already was, I told him. He just didn't know it yet. Now he does. Derek and I talk once a month. Not as brother and sister. As two people who survived the same fire. Sometimes that's all family can be. And sometimes, that's enough. People ask me if I regret not sending Derek to prison. No. Prison would have made him harder. This made him human. They ask if I regret taking James back. No. Leaving him would have been easy. Building something new with him was hard. And hard is where the truth lives. They ask if I hate Lena. No. Hate is a debt I refuse to pay. She was a child of corruption before she was a woman of choice. Now she's choosing better. That's all I can ask. Victor Hale gets out in 3 years. I won't be there when he does. My father used to say, "You can't control who walks into your hospital. But you can control whether they leave healed or harmed." Victor left harmed. By himself. I just held the door open. Mercy General is different now. We have anonymous reporting for staff. We audit insurance access every week. We train every manager that borrowed power is still stolen power. And above every executive door, we hung a new sign. It says, "The most dangerous thing in a hospital isn't a disease. It's an ego with a keycard." We haven't had an incident in 2 years. Not because people are perfect. But because they know someone is watching. Not with cameras. With conscience. That's my job now. Not just to heal bodies. But to guard the soul of the place my father built. And if another Derek walks in here, if another Victor tries to buy silence, if another Lena thinks a name is a shield, they'll find me. Not in the executive suite. On the floor. Watching. So if you're watching this, and someone in your life has humiliated you, used you, stolen from you, and you think silence will keep the peace, remember this. Peace built on cowardice isn't peace. It's just betrayal with better lighting. And if you have power, even a little, and you're using it to protect someone who is actively destroying others, you're not loyal. You're complicit. Blood doesn't excuse betrayal. Love doesn't require endless permission. And sometimes the only way to save what truly matters is to stop protecting the people who are burning it down. My name is Nora Hayes. And this story is fictional. But the lesson isn't. Everything in this video was made for entertainment and educational purposes. We hope it reminds you that silence doesn't always mean weakness. Sometimes it means you've finally chosen maturity, self-control, and the kind of peace that no toxic person can disturb again. If this story hit you, subscribe to Dark Justice Stories. New episode every Friday. Because justice doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes it holds a mop. And sometimes, that's enough.